All right, so we are picking the CPU now. We can do single CPU or do dual CPU. If you have a dual socket motherboard, you can do one or two CPUs. Um, if you want to do one and you only plan on doing one, you can use an E5 1600 CPU. The one part, the first digit here where it says E5 and then the one, that means the maximum configuration of that CPU is one. You cannot add a second one, even in a dual socket board. So if there's any chance that you will be using um, a dual CPU config, unfortunately you have to write all of the 1600 series off. You're going to be looking at the 2600 series, the V1 and V2. Generally speaking, the 1600 series are closer to their consumer counterparts like the i5, i7s, much higher clock speed, fewer core count, things like that. But in this section, I've outlined, a value recommendation, overclocking recommendation for X79 if you're going to use a single CPU in that. Like a jack of all trades, but not perfect at anything. General use, you can really go for either of these. And then a multi-thread recommendation, obviously, you're going to want to max out your core count. So this is 12 cores, 24 threads. And these are actually very good value. Um, there's another version. There's a 2696 V2. There's a 2697 V2. Those I believe are $300 and $400 respectively. So this is the easiest way to get a 12 core, 24 thread. The 2695 V2, and the performance isn't really too different, and I'll show you that in a second. Dual CPU, again, you can't use these E5 1600 series. You're going to be looking at the 2600 series. Um, Not a whole lot to say about these guys. If you've been around, you are probably familiar with a lot of these options, but do note that the prices are starting to come down, especially on the V2s. So you might see some different recommendations here that you would probably not see normally. Um, the biggest change for me are the E5 2650 V2s for 120 a pair. These are really, really, really good CPUs. You get 8 core, 16 threads each, and the clock speed is 2.6 base, 3.4 turbo. The problem with going past these, like to a 2660, 2670 V2, you're going to spend a lot more. For some reason, there's some sort of artificial wall, or I don't know, maybe it's a natural wall, where as soon as you jump past these, the price goes up a lot. So I don't know if there's just a huge surplus right now of 2650 V2s, but they seem to be a really, really good deal. And like I said, to the moon, you can really upgrade, insane amounts. Um, Whether it's a lot of cores or high clock speeds, but it's going to be expensive. So honestly, for most people, take a look at these, and if they really can't do it, then prepare to open your wallet. And just like the motherboard section, um, there's a spreadsheet here that has been around for a while, and I keep updating it. So I updated it in preparation for this guide. About 15 days ago, I've updated the prices of the V1 and V2 series CPUs. Again, like I said, the 2650 V2 are here. You go across, and you can look. I mean, they're right in the green for Passmark dual CPU. So that means they're entering the higher end of what's out there as far as dual CPU goes, and the price is not too. They're kind of in the yellow, so they're not extremely cheap, but not very expensive. Um, this is a very good resource, and I think it should be useful to most of you as you look at your CPUs. If you're not sure what to do, stick to the recommendations, buy something cheap, start there, evaluate your needs, and go from there. Um, you can start with the E5 2620 V2 for $16 a pair. That's $8 per CPU for a V2 CPU. And the 2620 V2s they are 6 core, 12 thread each. So that's 12 cores, 24 threads for $18. Or no, excuse me, $16. Start there. They're very easy to cool. They don't use a lot of power. And then evaluate your needs. And if you need to upgrade, upgrade. But I think you will be surprised with how fast they are. I think they're around 13,000 pass mark. So 13,000 pass mark for $16 is just insane. So take a look at those. And yeah, that's pretty much it for CPU options. I will see you in the next video for CPU cooling.